like after liberation. The city is liberated, but what do the residents feel? What problems they face? What is the mood in Kiev? We'll talk with people who have come to Kiev recently, but they have relatives in Kramatorsk and they are in constant contact. We will also have some people on the phone line from Kramatorsk. Those are people of different ages, so we will hear from people who are living in the city, which was until recently under the control of terrorists. I invite Ms. Vera Neskoromnych, Olena Beshitsa, and Gennady Kobzar, who will tell you about what's happening in Kramatorsk. Good afternoon. I am Olena Beshula. I am now in Kiev. I left Kramatorsk probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I am Olena Beshula. In Kramatorsk I have a lot of near and dear people whom I was very much worried about because my soul was there while I physically was here. I am in close contact with them and I know all about their problems, what's happening in the city. Of course, people are glad it's calm and they don't have to live in cellars as they had to. They've got some pensions and material help. I think that the business is still standing still. However, the enterprises are working. Humanitarian help is being distributed, although I cannot tell you who distributes the help. And people are applying to their housing register offices and to the city executive committee about the destruction in the city, even if their windows were broken. A great complication is that they don't have water. Probably for over than a month they didn't have enough water, but from the 5th or 6th of July there's no water at all. They are providing water in tanks. However, it's hard to stand in the sun to get the water. There's also some electricity, and people say that it's better to be with electricity than without water. Ukrainian channels are again on the air. There's great joy in the city, and they very well treat the armed forces who are patrolling the city. Some people bring books, and some older women in the stores try to give money to those young guys who are protecting them. However, there are some people are repainting themselves. They used to be in favor of the Donetsk People's Republic, and now they are trying to catch those who have been in favor of them. I won't tell you much because I haven't been there for quite a long time. I can tell you only about what my relatives and friends tell me on the phone or Facebook. I think that as of today there are two problems that local people face. One of the problems is that at the moment in the liberated cities there's a vacuum of legitimate power, legitimate authorities, because those local government bodies that were in place during the Donetsk People's Republic, they have partially cooperated with separatists, and in some cases they have just resigned. So after the restoration of Ukrainian power in the cities, those people who stayed in the authority, they do not have legitimacy in the eyes of the people, but the state does not pay enough attention, and they do not appoint some intermediate administration until the elections are held. And the second fact is that journalists do not pay enough attention to those cities. All the reports that we see from Kramatorsk or Slaviansk, it's about how our president or the Minister of Interior come here, but there's too little reporting on the life, on the everyday life of the people, on who helps whom, how, and who are the local activists that started to act, because the field of Ukrainian activists was really cleaned away during Yanukovych's time. You know, it was only 4 years in Kiev, but 17 years in us. On journalists, again, a huge problem of journalists' activity in Kramatorsk, because there are no printed press there at all. There are some internet publications, and Ukrainian symbols have come back only to Novosti Kramatorska. You know, with the support of the country is united, and the rest of the newspapers are the same as they used to be. And that's what Kramatorsk residents asked to tell you. They have communally owned newspaper, and they are being financed at the tune of 300,000 hryvnia a year, and it does not bear Ukrainian symbols. And the articles in this newspaper, let's say, there's no accent in favor of Ukraine at all, even now. And the acting editor-in-chief is Andriy Shtal, who was actively supporting the separatists. Well, you can go to his page in Vkontakte and you can see everything, like the hymn, the anthem of the Donetsk People's Republic, and people are indignant about this. I'd like to draw your attention to another aspect of this issue. I think that liberation is just the beginning of the real liberation, and it will go on for some time, which is not going to be as short as we would like it to be. And the liberation should not be just that they have ousted those who were engaged in terror, but people should liberate themselves. People should liberate their consciousness. They should feel themselves free. And the free person is not the one who can do whatever they want, but those who can arrive at decisions and be responsible for them. So the presence of responsibility and the upbringing and education of the society will stay with us for the future, until an average person understands, and also those who manage enterprises and cities and the state in general should understand that they are free, and that's why they are responsible. Only slaves are not responsible because they are being told what they do. So the entire Ukraine should help everybody to understand this, and then we will be able to get our single united state, and we should liberate ourselves from egoistic feelings and from protecting only our own interests. So this is what I wanted to say. Thank you. Thank you. We are now going to connect with Mr. Andriy Ivanov. He's a journalist who lives in Kramatorsk, and he'll tell us about what the city is living, how the city is living, and then we'll answer some questions. Do you hear us? Hello.
Thank you very much for contacting us. What about liberation? How's the mood in the city? How do you renovate your city? How does it come back to normal life? Speak about problems and what do people feel who live there after those horrible events. the mood is more happy. People are happier than before the liberation. The biggest problem is that in Kramatorsk that we don't have enough. We don't have water, and to some districts it started to come, but in not to the center. And we don't have water for a week, for more than a week. What about the electricity? Everything is fine with electricity. There were some problems, but now everything is fixed. So there is not enough of transportation, public transportation, and we have two city buses for each direction, and all the rest of city buses are absent. Also, there is a problem with cash. People after Treasury was unblocked. People from the central government and they started to send money, but ATMs don't have enough of cash for people to get. Those are the main problems in our city. Those are the main problems. Transportation, water, and cash. Are there a lot of demolished buildings in the city? Yes. Some buildings, multi-storied buildings. There was a shell of a mine exploded. And there are a lot of small problems when windows broken or balconies got ruined, but not many. And there are a lot of buildings untouched. What about kindergartens and schools? What about the social infrastructure? Yeah, the schools are closed. Some of them are suffered. Some of them were damaged. It seems to me that only one kindergarten worked. Only 16 kids from 6,000 visited the kindergarten. What about the mood of people? How are the people? The mood is higher, except those who supported separatists, because it is a revenge for them. All the rest are happy, and there are rumors that separatists could come back. You're a journalist and editor. Probably you speak to many people. Do you have any information about whether people are returning back to the city? Those who had to leave, are they coming back to Kramatorsk? Yes, I wouldn't call that this is a massive campaign of returning, but many will come back very soon. They will come back to their place of living. My last question. People from Kramatorsk told her that the absence of legitimate authorities is a big problem there. Could you comment on that? We have legitimate We have legitimate authorities. After resignation of our city, there is an acting mayor, one of the deputies. The issues should be, the question should be asked too differently. People believed that after the liberation there would be some kind of revision or test revision of local authorities, because there is an impression that the same people who actively or passively supported separatists in our city an executive committee and directories of plants and especially local authorities people believe that there is some kind of agreement. And police didn't do anything to stop separatists, and they are back. Stay in line, please. Maybe somebody has a question to you. We have one question. Good afternoon. Happy to hear your voice, and we are together with you. Here's my question. You say that authorities, legitimate authorities, how can you feel what is legitimate or illegitimate? What can you say? And what, as a journalist, could you tell to people about that? I don't understand your question about legitimate or illegitimate. According to the law, we had a mayor who resigned, and now elected mayor is his deputy. So it's quite legitimate. It seems like it's legitimate. It's formally or according to the law, but people don't believe that those who are in power, they have moral right to be a legitimate power in our city. So this is the way to put it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for talking to us. We are together with you. We support you. Thank you very much for finding time and for coming. And we need such information. And as you told us that there was a euphoria after liberation, but now you are returning to real life, and you have practical problems. In our city, there is not enough of symbols. It's impossible to buy it. We asked volunteers to send, but those guys, after the victory, they learned how to get organized. It's not an NGO, but they came with the paint, and they spent money for paint. They painted some signs, and they painted some street posts, and they asked flags, ribbons, please repost, and we will send those materials, those Ukrainian symbols to them. Thank you very much. It's very important to support them. It's important that Kyiv supports them, and they should feel that they are needed in this country. We'll support them. Thank you very much.